Does Contain Nuts episode. I don't even know what episode it is. Lee, do you know what episode it is?
7.
9, I think.
Shut up. Who cares? It doesn't matter what it is. Is it 9? I don't know. Last week, we had Mr. Alex Myers, which was a good one, wasn't it?
Certainly was, and that's out.
Now, it's already been out, mate. It's already been out. We're confusing ourselves in this weird time warp of when do we record them and when do we not.
Time zone.
Yeah, well, Geordies have a different time zone to Londoners. You know
Well,
that?
yeah, I heard that yesterday.
We had this chat yesterday. Yeah, we had that chat. I can't remember in what context, but it was one of our very intellectual chats that we often have.
No, you said, I dropped you a message, and he says, I'll give you a ring at 4:30. Bearing in mind this was 3:30. And then within 3 seconds, my phone started ringing.
Oh, that was it. And and that was the time zone difference. Not many people know about.
I didn't realise up Newcastle we were an hour behind.
You're behind on many things.
Yeah.
There's so many things they're behind on, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, if you're listening to this,
watch calculator watches. You don't have them. Do you have them up north?
Calculator watches.
You know, watches with calculators on.
Like the Casio.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have them?
Aye.
You do.
That's
nice.
they all think it's a remote control for the telly.
They keep turning things off. It's amazing. My dad's
Anyway.
Geordie. Wait, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, shut up. If you're listening to this right now, you will be hearing a third voice. You'll think, hang on a second. That's not
Hold on.
Lee. And that's not Lee. We've got indeed another guest on this week. Last week we had Mr. Myers. The week before we had Mr. Fanning. Both of whom are very good coaches, right? They've had some kind of adversity in their life. They've they've got their shit together and that. We've got a guest this week, and he doesn't do anything in the coaching world, in the training. He's not a guru in terms of mental, physical, emotional health, whatever. But he's a great guy. He's a very good guy. He's a very good friend of mine. He's been a client of mine for many, many, many years. But we've had many drunken nights out together, haven't we, mate? And he has, I won't spoil it, but he's got an incredible story that I think a lot of people are going to be gripped by. He likes the odd swear word. So, Mum, if you're listening, turn it down.
Hello, Mum. How are you? Been a while.
His name is Trevor Harvey. Trevor, welcome to the show, mate.
Hello, show. Hello, Lee. Hello, Dad.
How you doing?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, very well.
How are you? How are you both?
All good, mate. Thanks. All good. How you found in the whole lockdown business?
Lockdown? No.
Managing?
No, I'm not. I didn't even know it was on. What was?
Oh, really? You've been going out, have you?
I've not been going out. No. Me and my wife just been sat in. You know, it was very quiet. No, yeah, very good, very good. In fact, it's been really good. You know, like amazing. You know, all the time you ever want to say, like, I wish the world would just stop, so I can do all the things that I've been trying to do forever.
Yeah.
Literally, the world has stopped, and we've suddenly had. For some of us, it's fucking awful and a nightmare. But I got to say, for us here, me and my other half, Michelle, it's been the best time. It's been mad. We feel so lucky to have this extra time we've been given. You know, like to. Yeah. I know it sounds ridiculous. Lots of people say, "Oh, we've been creative. We're doing this and that," but oh no, it's amazing. Mate, so much shit. It's unbelievable.
I've been loving it. So have you, Liam.
I think we're all on the same page. Yeah, I don't want it to end.
No, I know.
No. And also, you have that thing, don't you?
For Boris to lift it. I'm like praying he's going to just keep it going.
One more month. I just need another month.
Just one more month, Boris.
But then for all those people, you know, there's some people within up Shit's Creek and, you know.
Oh, it is hard for some, yeah, of course. Definitely. Trev, before we go any further, tell everyone what you do. Tell us what you do right now and give people a little bit of an insight into what you do. I don't know what's going to... I'll put a disclaimer out there. I don't know what... Every time I have a chat with this guy, I don't really know what's going to come out of his mouth. So...
yeah, I was just thinking about that. I just think about how rude to get or, you know, just being... You know, I just, you know, like...
Go for it.
Go for it, mate. Go for it, man.
No, I need to get to know you better, Lee, before I start throwing my full self at you.
Throw it.
No.
Right now,
playing golf and masturbating.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah, but golf's not very popular at the moment. It's really hard. Playing on my own all the time.
So when you're not playing golf, which is quite hard at the moment, and you're not playing with yourself,
yes.
What do you do, mate? Tough question.
Right, okay. So basically, ever since I was like, I used to watch the TV and build Lego as a kid. I used to watch TV and build Lego. And when I got old enough to kind of make a decision, I wanted to do animation, film and TV, 3D, 2D animation, make the world a better place, making music and pictures that makes the world a better place. So you have these like missions when you're like 18, 19. You know, I think I was tripping my balls off watching Akira on acid with all my mates. Thinking, fuck, I want to go to Japan, marry a Japanese princess and do animation, you know, as you do, right?
Yeah, common goal.
Normal thing. But then, you know, like you go on a mission and you're very lucky and it all works out. I worked really hard and there was a lot of ups and downs. So at the moment I run now I'm 48, run a motion design studio agency in Waterloo. We do motion graphics for film and telly and online stuff. And we've come round full circle to the point where we want to make the world a better place again. Me and Mish, you know, like we're working out our common goals and why we do what we do. And the whole fucking point is making beautiful things that make people feel better. You know, trying to kind of level the play, making people, you know, unify the things that, you know, that's our mission, our little mission statement and stuff. Called yoyopop.com.
Yoyopop.com, yeah. Go and look it up. Yeah, because you're actually, I hate to say this, but quite good at what you do, aren't you? You make some pretty gnarly stuff.
I've been very lucky during the time, old boy. Very lucky during the time, you know. Doing the same thing since you were like 18. You know, 30 years later, still doing the exact same thing and
you should be quite good by now, really.
You think you'd be better at it than you started. Yeah.
But that's good. But that whole ethos, that thing behind what you do, helping people is good, right? I like that. It's nice.
It's the only fucking point, isn't it? You go to work every day, you spend, you know, I don't know, suppose 70% of your life working hours of being alive, going to work every fucking day. It seemed very early on that why would you fucking do anything other than what you really love doing? I mean, what would be the fucking point? Not that everyone can do everything they love doing, because there's things, everyone's got different goals. But for me, why the fuck would I go to work if I don't love what I'm doing?
I guess if you could earn money playing golf or masturbating, that's what you would do.
Mate, I would be fucking minted by now.
And blind.
This arm is like almost broken. I'm left-handed, you could tell. Yeah. Well, I'm ambidextrous at times, you know.
Handy. Yeah, very handy.
Something that I wanted. So how do we approach that? Helping others and helping the world with animation.
Yeah, it's a good point
about that.
Yeah, I think that that was the, you know, like the ambition when you were young, and then, you know, you get into life and literally get paid lots of money making nice pictures and sounds that move around that people like. And to be honest with you, the positive impact of that it isn't that. You know, I've made some artwork as well, like I did the other art fair, and half the money goes to mental health charities. And we make everything we do. I think that personally, everything you watch and everything you see has an impact on everybody.
Yeah.
Fed the TV, we're all on fucking screen at the moment, and everything you see and want and buy and what you look like and how you feel about yourself is kind of pretty much fed through what you look at, what you are fed through the screen now. It was always more and more and more. So the ambition, I guess, is to make some cool, fun things that just make you feel a little bit lighter. I guess it's always subliminal. There's so much noise and so much content out there that isn't positive. That you know, I guess you make a little impact. But during this time, me and Michelle have kind of come back to the roots, and like we do have like positive things that we're going to do. You know, we work for good causes and places like that, but we've got bigger plans. It's difficult, you know, at the moment, probably not as positive impact as it should do. Yeah. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah.
Keep talking, mate. It's nice. Never too much blah, blah, blah on here.
So 2D animation, like, I don't know anything about this. Is that, I'm guessing that's like cartoon. Is that cartoon?
Well, have a look. You know, if you've got a browser open, go to yoyopop.com.
You ain't going to do it now.
Do it now.
I'm not going to do it now.
Do it now.
Explain to him.
See, can't you? I mean,
explain to him.
It's all right. I'm allowed to swear, baby. It's not so like. See, my wife, Misha, was all worried that I was just going fucking. But I could say cunt as much as I like.
You say what you want, mate.
Yeah. What were we saying?
But your animation that you do, it's not just 2D, is it? It's
No.
So, you know, like adverts, Lee. You know, like on iDent. You know, like when you watch Geordie Shore, right?
Oh yeah.
And when there's an advert, you know, there's like sometimes computer digitally made.
It's so much easier to see. Like the BBC, like for example, the titles to the BBC News or whatever. You got the globe spinning round,
Yeah.
things like that. That's a motion graphics thing. But there's so much really amazing. Like we watched a film last night called, I know it's a cartoon, but it's called Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse. It is fucking amazing. The work that they did in there, the way it's been put together, the music, every piece of art, and it is really a really good thing to watch because it's just quite positive.
Yeah.
That positive content.
So is that how you work? You just get a kind of vision idea in your head and just try and project it as much as you can onto a screen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, okay, so like, you know, when you want to get a website designed, or you've got an idea for Phil the Burns' latest t-shirt and lunchbox holder, you know what I mean? We will design those two things, but then you put them into a little video where it spins in and then it opens up, and then there's Phil doing a dance with a nappy on. You know, those sort of brilliant advertising gems.
Yeah, it is clever. It is clever.
The image that's going to be for does content.
Oh, you don't even. So mate. I asked Lee to send me some pictures yesterday that are going to be part of this sort of advertising thing we're doing. He sent naked pictures to me. Naked pictures, mate, with a unicorn, with a unicorn shower cap on, a face mask on, and putting fake tan on. It was really quite the most horrific thing I've ever seen. I'm brutally honest.
The mind boggles, mate. The mind
boggles, mate. The mind boggles. Talking of boggled minds, so you're pretty your mind right now. I dread to think what's in your mind right now, but it hasn't always been in the position, in the state it's been in right now, has it? And this is kind of what I want to about. Give us a bit of a sort of a timeline, or take us back, mate, to back in the old days, and because Lee, just for anyone listening, Lee's never met you, right? And you don't know Lee, so he's as interested to hear this as everyone else is. Right.
All right, no worries. Well, you know, like, okay, so 18, 19, thought I would be a designer, sold everything, went around the world, slept outside a barn without electricity or hot water, ended up first phone call in Sydney, got this job. 5 years later, still at this job, was illegal, got arrested, all these other things happened. Took a lot of drugs during that time. This is important because it does form a picture. You know, like, you know, as you do in your 20s, you know, you really cane it and you have a great time, but there's always consequence for these things. And it depends on what you're like as a person in the beginning. And me and Pete were always looking at reaching new levels of consciousness through drugs expansion. That was our plan when we were 19, as you do. Anyway. So after Sydney in about 99, it's about, man, it feels such a long time ago, had a massive crash, came home, suicide, hospitals, 7 types of antidepressants, 7 types of antipsychotics, hospitals, got to close to the edge a few times, managed to get out of it through a lot of meditation and pulling myself back together. And through that, you know, depression is the worst one because, you know, everyone can go, oh, are you all right, mate? But
chin up.
Yeah, exactly. But no one's going to ever suffer what you're going through, and it's if you can survive those times, it's really important. But anyway, it got better. I got better after about a year. Went back to work, found this amazing global, the #1 agency in the world to do what we were doing. So I was doing animation in Sydney the time before, and then worked at this place. Crazy times again. Just drank drugs all day, every day, and having great times. Oh, it was brilliant. I smoked weed. In my first job in Sydney, my boss used to go, right, who's got drugs you could smoke all day long? Weed, doing 3D animation, this drum and bass. It was just a dream. I know this sounds terrible. I probably shouldn't be saying this on things. I don't know.
Mate,
anyway,
keep going.
I think that we're going to skip a few years ahead, right? Got better. Life was good, not as heavy as it was before. And then I ended up going to Tokyo and worked in Tokyo for a couple of years. Doing animation for like my favorite anime director who did Ghost in the Shell. Again, had a crazy time. I mean, living in the middle of Tokyo, wicked studio, the only foreigner, 70 Japanese people, all speaking Japanese. You learn Japanese and this really complicated 3D software.
Yeah.
And it's quite stressful.
Yeah.
And I had a lovely girlfriend at the time, American girl, who's pretty insane, beautiful. Insane.
I like the way you just looked over your computer then at your wife, who's probably in your kitchen. Imagine there's a broccoli going to come flying at your head in a minute.
She's the best. And that makes a big difference to your life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Tokyo, yeah.
Tokyo was good. But at the end of Tokyo, went crazy again. I mean, it happens to a lot of people. I was convinced that my girlfriend was hiding secret cameras in the air conditioning unit and taking it apart because that was the only way. Anyway, I was lost in a psychological thing. It wasn't to do with drugs. It was to do with a lot of pressure. I had a mate who worked for Sony, a Russian guy who said he went through the same thing where he thought the KGB had got cameras all over the light sockets. He took them all apart in his apartment. It happens quite a lot through stress. And, I think when you're creative or you've got an active mind, you end up meeting lots of people and your life is full of interesting things to do. And I think sometimes that adds pressure to it too. So I came home after Tokyo and again, tried to work in London, and I'm only realizing another big burnout was happening and had a year of absolute hell, worse than the time before.
How old were you then, Trev, in London?
33, 34 maybe.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it was pretty fucking awful. Again, 7 types of antipsychotics and antidepressants. Nothing touched the sides. And I've got, there's another discussion to come back to about antidepressants and antipsychotics. But so I had a year of that and I tried all combinations. My mum's in pieces and everyone's, it's fucked. I spent spent 3 months in a chair, not speaking at all. It's amazing to think that, isn't it? Impossible. But speaking.
If you'd done it by choice, I think it would be bloody lovely. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like, if I was to just choose just to be chilled and silent and just observe the world for 3 months, it would probably be nice.
Amazing.
But from not being in choice, I'd imagine it being absolute hell.
Absolute hell. Yeah, I'm totally with you. If you could meditate, I just could do that forever. But yeah, when you got no more words to say and all you're contemplating is ways to do yourself in.
Was that while you were working, you mean?
No, it was after work. So came back from Tokyo, tried a few months in London, wasn't working out. Well, I couldn't think straight. I had stayed with my mum and dad's in the countryside, and it was such an opposite to being in the middle of Tokyo to going to the middle of the countryside that it just fell apart basically. So it was pretty, it was an awful place to be. And with those antipsychotics and antidepressants, it's another part of discussion, but it's a really important part, I think. Statistically, when they talk about depression in men in their late 30s and 40s, whatever, one thing happens when you take antidepressants and antipsychotics, as in my experience, and I hear it's the same, is your knob doesn't work. No, hear me out. This is fucking important. Now, listen to, blokes would never go to the doctor and go, I'm really depressed. And thanks for the meds. Now my knob doesn't work. So the only thing you've got to look forward to as a bloke is to have that's the only thing you've got, right?
What do you mean doesn't work?
It doesn't fucking...
Can't get it up.
When I was anxious and depressed, that was the last thing on my mind. It didn't work anyway, and that was before the drugs.
I don't know. I found that was the only thing I looked forward to, and as soon as that stopped, it was like the only thing that I could ever do. I can't do that either. What's the point in being alive? For me, it was really kind of, maybe it's a similar thing though, in terms of the effect psychology for a bloke.
But either way, mate, if that's something that you've got and you it's the one thing I've got left.
That you're hanging on to, yeah.
And that's taken away. Do you know what I
mean? It's not like the only thing I was living for. Honestly, I did more than just wanking. I played golf as well,
We need added music there.
I'm not an animal.
Yeah. Oh, God. So basically your knob stopped working.
Well, no. All right. So that's just by the by. And I just thought it was interesting. Statistically, with all these people doing themselves in at that age with depression, I'm sorry, but I reckon that's a really kind of probably something that is part of it. Anyway, so got better. The only times when I was depressed that I felt a little bit better was I had and I'm not advocating smoking weed in any way, but I occasionally had a little spliff. It was the only times that I had any release from my terrible depression. I always smoked weed all my life, and it's not, again, I'm not advocating doing that because I don't think it's fucking healthy in any way at all. But it does, in controlled times, it opens your mind, and these are important things as well. Anyway, 8 months after getting out, I had a year of hell, not talking, suicide, hospitals, suicide attempts and things like that. It was awful. Got better through meditation and like really hardcore meditation, like, just, 7 days meditating, and, there's sort of like, went to one center to when I was starting to get a bit better, where I didn't speak for 7 days. And I thought, well, that'd be perfect, because I'm not speaking anyway. And it was good. It was good because you kind of coming back on a coach from Devon. I was thinking maybe I could teach some of the things I learned. And it was all like, in my mind, we all manifest our own ways of reasons for being the way that we feel. The reason why we burn out all comes from deep-rooted stuff that made us who we are, probably. And I would say that's true. And so basically, when you start coming out of the other end, you realize, maybe I could teach, whatever your reasons for going in there. Anyway, I got better and better and better. But then probably about 9 months later, I got really much, much better. So I was all the way to the lowest point, and then I started getting better and better and better, to the point where I was directing a shoot in Paris. Was it a shoot in Paris? Yeah. And I was traveling. I went to New York, went all these different places. I had a wicked time. I became totally fearless because all the paranoia and depression and self-doubt and image issues or whatever you had, realizing it was all in your mind, completely in your mind, you become fearless. And that plus a elevated kind of emotional state, I guess, from what happened before. It's a classic bipolar kind of disorder, they said. I got sectioned. I thought, basically, I was living in my garden in Brixton, on Brixton Hill.
When was this? Was this before living at your folks or after?
After. So I was living at my folks.
Yeah.
Depressed, got better after about a year, then started to get, after that year, I started working again. And then 8 months after that, 9 months after that, I got sectioned. Right. So during that 9 months period of time, I got started working, became stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah, then
to
what?
The point where I had the best time. The most amazing thing is I remember how I felt throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
How my body felt. I felt like an animal. I could smell and taste everything. Oh my God. I mean, I was living in the garden in Brixton Hill. I'd taken apart all my laptops and worked out how to travel around the world using sound, right? I had all these mad ideas. I was lying in the Streatham Park with a little camera and a bottle of water and eating blades of grass, right? Thinking, this is food, isn't it? I can eat this because it's just
But hang
food.
on a sec. So you, when you said you got better and better and better, you were feeling brilliant.
Oh no, feeling better. Probably not on a normal scale. Better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when you say you were feeling, you were getting better.
Oh, I see. No. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I was feeling better and better. It's all states of mind, and balance is a funny one. So I'm just trying to depict what happens between. So yeah, as you said, a year of depression, started to get better, started working about
Did the meditation retreat.
Meditation always, like every day, of course, practice every day. Got to.
Yeah.
But I got better and better and better, I felt, but then it started to escalate about a couple of months before I got sectioned. I was getting a little bit more than I was before, kind of thing. It was amazing what was going on in my mind. But anyway, it was I was living in my garden just for a few days before they came around to get me.
So hang on, don't gloss over that. So you're living in your garden
only for a couple of days, basically a couple of days before. It was all going a little bit wonky. I went to a mate's wedding in Paris 2 weeks before. Just outside of Paris. I was coming back through Paris. All these mad things were happening. Like the train got struck by lightning. This girl, this most beautiful, bless you, baby. Bless you.
Bless you.
the train got struck by lightning. Met this amazing girl. Ended up in Paris for 2 weeks, having this wicked time. Met a French clown called Moutatin who rode his bike, and we used to cycle around on his motorbike. This is all gospel. I got pictures and everything.
Yeah.
But it's just that because you were so fearless, you met absolutely fucking anybody, and you didn't really give a shit about anything.
Yeah. But were you so fearless just because you were off your face the whole time? Is that what you're saying?
No, I wasn't off my face. No, I think
it was just high, like naturally just picked himself up past that natural level.
That's it.
The normality is that level here. He's went all the way down on the graph, but then he's went so high and past that point that now it feels invincible.
Oh, it was immense. It was really amazing.
So you're feeling invincible. Paris, train gets struck by lightning. Moutatin the clown on his bike, and then what?
He's like my brother. Anyway, so 2 weeks after that, it started. Friends were kind of noticing things that were happening. Going around people's houses and just picking up objects and thinking, well, that's just random little things in a day to day. Like I picked up a thing at a friend's house and just put it in my pocket, not to steal it. It's just mine. I don't know why. I would just remember things like that. Yeah. And then on the weekend before it all happened, I was in Streatham Park, beautiful weather. And I remember the church bell ringing in the distance, thinking, right, if it rings 3 times, I'm going to have to go over there and have a word, because I was getting to an elevated level, right? Yeah. In my mind.
Yeah.
And I was eating blades of grass, and like I had a bottle of water and a camera, and the batteries run out. And I just sat there and I saw the light coming through, the sun was beaming through the bottle of water, and I aimed the rays through the bottle of water to the cathodes on my camera battery to charge it.
Yeah.
Just thinking, oh yeah, fucking hell. It was just like everything was just fucking fluid.
Yeah.
And although that was probably a bit irrational because don't know if it worked.
It's nuts though, isn't it? But your brain is telling you that you can charge a battery from the sun and a bottle of water.
Focusing that light rays on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically got to this stage where went back home. My friends were a bit worried about me. I'd ripped the TV out of my room and chucked it into the garden so we could all play. I was going to have a big party, getting everyone around. That was my idea.
Yeah.
And then they phoned my mum and dad, and mum was wearing this big pink scarf, and I was thinking, fuck, it's me, isn't it? Right. I basically thought that I was AKA God.
Right.
I got to the point being so high that I thought that I was the Omega, not any God, there's lots of gods, but I was the Omega first.
Okay.
And I remember how I felt. And my mum turned up with the pink scarf. Fuck, it's Mother of God. It's the Mother of God.
Oh.
And then my dad turned up and he was getting a bit upset with me. So I kind of thought, fuck off. And I went for a walk and standing in the middle of the traffic on Brixton Hill, thinking I'm more important than cars because I am more important.
Jesus Christ.
But then luckily the Notting Hill Carnival was on and the police were coming back, and they stopped us in the road and they got me in, and then my dad was saying clearly I wasn't well.
Blimey. You just stood in the middle of Brixton Hill.
Yeah. It wasn't too busy, but it was just kind of like cars were beeping, and I was
because you were God.
I was God, so Anyway. So they came over and they realised I was ill and very, very ill, and they take you off to the Lansdowne. It was the Maudsley Hospital first of all.
Okay.
And they put me in this room, and I had amazing. The officer who arrested me when the time I got out of the van, we have this big old scientific conversation about the universe and new scientists and writing about these different things. And it was, I was very happy. I was here to save the world. I was like, yes, fucking hell, it's me. I don't know how I felt. Anyway, they put me in this room, and I remember saying to them, listen, don't you stop looking at me, because if you stop looking at me, but I was meant to go to sleep, I was afraid I was just going to disappear. I was certain I was just going to just disappear. If someone stopped looking at me, I would disappear.
If someone stopped looking at you, you would disappear.
Totally. It was so terrifying.
You know what I think's amazing? Like, if I was looking at you and watching you going through all of this, I would think you're totally oblivious to everything. But what's amazing is you can actually remember everything.
Everything, yeah. It's good. It's a positive. Very lucky to remember. I think you don't remember depression, but when you go manic, maybe some people do.
Yeah. So you're in this cell, and then then what?
So we're in the cell, and then the next day they take me to the Maudsley Hospital.
Had you disappeared?
No, I hadn't. I was so fucking relieved the next day. Yeah.
I'm still here.
I remember how I felt though. Am I right? Is it too loud, though? I remember exactly how I felt. Like physically, emotionally. I don't know. As real as everything else you do. Anyway, so in the hospital, basically, and this is no word of a lie. This is true. Like basically, I remember everything, and I was basically, aka God, and the God of Mars was there. He was from Holster Planet Suites. There's the God of Mars, who's the God of War. It's a piece of classical music. And he was my brother. He's this massive black guy with huge scars, very dangerous. There's people there who are very sick and all sorts of reasons. Mental, you're sectioned under Section 3 of the Mental Health Act when you're a danger to yourself and others, that situation. And he was my brother, and he was the God of Mars. And I gave him my shoes, I think. I gave him my shoes. There was another god from another planet. There was a god of sleep that made the whole world sleep. He just kept him sleeping all day long. It was clearly the god of sleep.
Is this in your head, or is this what they all thought? Were you on a ward of everyone who thought they were God?
No.
Did you think everyone was God?
That was they were there. Those people in my mind, those were who they were.
Blimey.
And it was brilliant. And there was the and Monkey Magic, the TV show.
Yeah.
Right. There's a sea dragon in the first episode that gives Monkey his magic wishing staff.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it.
I can't remember it.
I'm gonna have to say, but anyway, it's this sea dragon who lives under the sea. He was this old guy in a wheelchair in the mental hospital, and we had these big old chats, and we had smoking rooms back then in the hospital. It's not that long ago, I guess, but and always caused trouble. There's lots of adventures to go on. To talk about, the devil was there, and I used to he punched me in the face one time, and knocked me to the floor, and I just got up, and all the wards rushed in, and I said, no, it's all right. This isn't real. My face isn't real. When you do a lot of meditation and Zen practice and philosophy about, the fabric of reality and all the rest of it, all of that information manifested part of my delusion as well, because you literally were everything, and this was just the thing you carry around in,
Just matter.
Nuts, isn't it? Yeah. And when you looked at those people, the devil and all of that, did you visually see that, or did you just kind of, it was in your head and that's the devil?
They looked the way they looked.
Yeah.
The way you looked.
Totally normal. Yeah. So it was all just in your head. You attached them as the devil. Yeah. As
the devil. It's true. Like the old guy was an old guy in a wheelchair. Mr. Sleepy was Mr. Sleepy.
Yeah.
But that's who they actually were.
You just attach this meaning to them, don't you? That's who they are in your head, yeah.
No, but that's who they were every time interaction. Every little conversation was all about, even my mum and dad, when they would come over, like people would change bodies. So my dad was this old lady for a while in the hospital. And it was really, mum kept a recording on an answer machine. When I called them, I left them a message to say, oh, nice one for coming to visit me today. Nice one, Dad, for being the old lady again. It was really nice to see,
Jesus.
It's so sad to listen to it. And it's so sad for, your family when they, can see that. Because when you're depressed, you can relate to people. But when you lose your mind completely, you lose.
It's another ball game, isn't it? Yeah.
You're no longer the person you were, and people were thinking after about 3 months of this behaviour, they were thinking, well, I might not get out of it. I wouldn't come back.
Is this when you were on the planet?
Planet Zob, yeah. I call it Planet Zob because it's just apt, because I used to talk about Planet Zob when I used to get high, and I thought, there's no other planet, fucking hell, it's the most
Planet Zob, yeah.
Ideal way of calling it Planet Zob, because that's pretty much.
So he's there. So 3 months there, thinking, "Oh, Trev, we've lost him."
It was 6 months. It was good 6 months in total.
6 months.
To your own, protection of yourself or to others, and there was all sorts of things that happened. There was bits where I would sleep on the floor. I didn't want to sleep in my room. I would sleep in the middle of the floor, and I'd snore I could create sound waves that are still impossible, right? and the wards would try and drag me in. They would have to inject me and fucking wrestle. It was, and I was so, and they're going to try and, I thought they were trying to kill me. You know, I remember how I felt, like the
fear
terror of like being carried off and yeah.
I have nightmares. Like if I'm stressed and stuff, I have nightmares, and I don't know if it's to do with like Phil, you know, like Stephen and stuff, but I have nightmares that I'm being chased by people with needles or knives, and I'm going to get stabbed or I'm going to get injected with needles. Like,
oh my God.
Quite a bit.
Horrible. Yeah.
That's horrible.
In the fear in them, and I wake up with sweats. Like, it doesn't happen often, but when I have nightmares, like they're like one of the themes, shall we say.
The thing is as well, in your head, you don't know, your brain don't know if it's really happening or not. It just knows the feedback, the emotions, the feelings, isn't it?
Like that was me in a dream or in a nightmare. I can't imagine that actually happening in real life. That would the fear. The fear.
Yeah, it's just fucking awful. You know, you feel for all those people who are just not as lucky as us. They're all over the fucking world having these terrible times. And here we are, you know, we talk about our you know, stuff. I think the bottom line is, you know, whatever you're going through, no matter how, if it was bad for you or better for you or worse for someone else, suffering is suffering. It doesn't matter whether, you know, if you're a billionaire and you're crying yourself to sleep, or you're just, you know, you work down the road at Tesco's and you cry yourself to sleep. You know, it's all the same thing. It doesn't matter if someone's pissed off because a nanny can't work anymore under restrictions, or it's sometimes, although it's harder in reality for people with less, you appreciate life so much more when you know what it's like to have nothing, you know. And I think
and also probably you appreciate more when you're feeling on point, if you felt this place of living on a planet Zob.
Fully. And I think, you know, like the points where, you know, those are happy moments, you know, in my mind in terms of how I remembered it. And it was like a game changer in terms of getting over it and coming back to reality. And it kind of blew out a lot of the, you know, as you said, you started at 18, you were doing this, that, and the other. And it wasn't like I was high all the time, but I traveled the whole world. I worked in all these different places. I successfully navigated that life and, you know, was good at it. But, you know, as you're built up in all these different layers, it was those big events. And I've never had anything since those two massive events in that time ever since. No sign of depression, no sign of manic disorder.
Till you met me, and it all started going downhill again.
And then I started doing.
How did you get out of that? What was the? So you're on Planet Zob. You're basically on that ward. What was the process of you becoming essentially who you are now again? Right. What was the process? How did they bring you back down?
Yeah, I think it was mainly, you know, they medicated you really heavily, and I think that for a while nothing ever touched the sides, and you didn't know what was going on. But you'd have these little checkups once every couple of weeks with all the doctors. They sit around the table and ask you questions. And every time I would talk about, you know, the reality of me being God and me being here to save the world. But there was one point they were talking to us, and there was one point I was saying something about, I can't remember, part of the manifestation of this whole complicated story, that maybe what I'm saying isn't real. It's really mad. I remember the moment I was thinking, in the back of my head, I was thinking, maybe this isn't real, what I'm thinking. And it was like a little bit of a thing to latch onto. And after that, I noticed a few weeks later, it was starting to unravel that my heart was going for months it's at such a high rate. They were worried that I wasn't going to make it for that reason as well. I was so elated.
Yeah.
And then I noticed this little crack in my structure, you know, the story structure in my mind that you created, which is quite amazing how powerful your mind is. You can think you're God's gift or the worst thing from the bottom of the fucking bin, but it's all within your fucking mind entirely. And so meditation was definitely also always been the most important thing as well. You know, just
did they put you through meditation?
No.
So go on, sorry.
No worries. Go on in. Hello.
So you found this sort of little chink in your story. Like, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Maybe what I'm saying is maybe I'm not God. Maybe this is just a load of bollocks. And so then how do you get from there to thinking I'm going to start meditating? Or do you know what I mean? Like, what happened then? Because
I guess I'm not entirely sure, but I know that within 2 weeks later, I just started to kind of I calmed down a lot. My heart rate dropped a lot. I'm not sure. Well, you know, like I guess at a certain stage it can't go on forever. You know, when you see these films with all these crazy hospitals, you know, and these kind of like hilarious examples of, you know, this kind of Facebook land of mental health. You know, where everyone's kind of like, you've got the crazy one and the one that talks to the wall and all this other stuff. It's not like that at all. It's a terribly sad and depressing and awful place for some people who always end up going back there. But for me, I think after a time, I guess at some point when all the drugs are out of your system and you've had I don't know, mate. I think some people will never get out of it, but I think within a couple of weeks, I started to do a bit of meditation every day. I started to be more conscious I was more conscious of myself, I suppose. And I think the more meditation you do, the more you give little gaps between your thoughts. And, you know, if you can even just get a couple of breaths free of thought, you're a lucky person. And, you know, the more you work on that, it's so powerful.
And then your awareness, because you've got this space, your awareness grows, doesn't it? And then all of a sudden you're more aware of what you're doing and what's going on and all that, rather than just being in it.
What form of meditation did you do? Like so when you say meditation at that present time, what were you actually doing?
So, I mean, to be honest with you, I've always done the same thing, and it is always, in fact, we just did a little Yo-Yo Pop Trev's Guide to Meditation. Did I send it to you, Phil?
No, I haven't seen that. I look forward to watching that, yeah.
It's a little animation, and it's a little downloadable PDF of my little way of meditation, which is not, so you place, go on, sorry.
Is that suitable for everyone?
Yeah. No, it is. 100%. I put it on LinkedIn.
On the planet's up here, are you?
Yeah.
No. I know it's hard to
attach it to we'll attach it to the comments.
We'll attach it on the thing and share it out.
I like it.
So yeah, what sort of meditation? What did you do? Where'd you learn it? What did you do?
So basically, it's just the most basic form, because often, you know, like you can go, even when you study Zen, you know, the full length of like Japanese type of Zen meditation and that kind of heavy kind of thinking, to kind of like Buddhist meditation, you know, and the different types of Buddhist meditation. You look into it, but I'm not into any religion, and I think sometimes it all gets a little convoluted. And my thoughts are, it's the most beautiful, basic, and simplest thing in the world. You don't need to overcomplicate it with an app, plinky plonky music, fancy candles, because it just turns attachment to everything around you, and all you need is a quiet spot.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Yeah.
So that's what the Trev's Guide to Meditation is. It's what was basically, you set your stopwatch for 10 minutes if you can, before you eat, and hopefully before everyone else gets up, because otherwise you know, you run the risk of not doing it. You get 2 cushions, sit on the floor, get your palms on top of each other properly, just sit properly. I think that's the most comfortable way. And you leave a tiny bit of light. My thoughts are, is like you leave a tiny bit of light between your eyes. You don't close your eyes completely, because it's very easy to lose consciousness when you're really in a state, and it keeps you slightly awake without being able to focus on anything. And all you got to do for that 10 minutes, set your stopwatch for 10 minutes, and all you got to do is watch the air going in your nose and out, you know, just focusing lightly on the breath. And as soon as your mind, you hear a car go by or something goes off in the house, whatever, it's your little reminder of you going back to your thoughts. Because if you have drifted, which you pretty much spend 99% of the time thinking about the washing or tomorrow or whatever you feel, those are your little reminders to just go, I'm back there. Do it every day, and within 2 weeks, you will have more patience, more understanding. You'll be a better friend, better husband, whatever, you know, it improves everything, because you have little space. You start to recognize your thoughts and actually what's happening around you. You don't have to
determine what's kind of true and what's not. And everybody chooses to believe the thoughts, don't they, when half of the time your thoughts are absolute bullshit.
Absolute bollocks, mate. The whole world's around it. I mean,
If I
if
believe
Trump had any idea about his reality of his own existence,
yeah,
he would have shot himself years ago. It's true, though, isn't it? He'd be like, "Oh my God, it's me."
yeah, it
He'd
is
be
nuts.
like, so yeah, there's a lot of fucking idiots who could do a lot of meditation. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
man.
you're just solely focusing on the breath coming in and out of your nose.
just lightly, the lightest focus, because any more concentration or any more if you berate yourself in any way, oh fuck, I've done it again.
Yeah, that's what people, I think.
Forcing. Yeah, so like just don't force it. Just.
I think people do that a lot when it comes to meditation. There's two things. A, they think it's for some sort of type of person, and you've got to sit cross-legged with orange robes and touch your nipples and all that. And it's, you know what I mean?
No.
And I also think, yeah, like, you know,
unicorn.
unicorn thing on their head, and yeah, but also they think you're doing it wrong, you know. And what you're saying, Trev, go into it and think, oh shit, I'm thinking too much. Oh, I've forgotten about my breath. Oh, this, that, and the other. And then just think, oh, it's not working. Bollocks to it. I won't bother. And it's not really, you know,
people want this crazy trip.
Not that at all, is it? No.
Unless the crazy tripping and feeling as though they're floating, then they think they're not doing it.
And also, people forget that
exactly.
And people forget that they think it's just a tool to go to sleep. Oh, Phil, I'm not sleeping very well, mate. Can you teach me how to meditate? It's not really. It helps you to sleep, doesn't it? But it's kind of training, isn't it? It's training for your brain.
Training, and the thing is, you know, you guys, you do the coaching and stuff, and it's give, rightly so, to people who are really trying to be, focused on reaching goals and all these things and self-development. And I guess sometimes there is pressure on that, but the funniest thing about it is those things, you guys will help people achieve those goals. But with meditation, the only person that can get you to where you want to be is yourself.
Yeah.
You can encourage people to do it, but because those people that you're training are wanting to achieve, when they realize how hard it is and difficult, they give up, because it's like you're proving that you failed, and the last thing you want to do is fail, isn't it? Some people are, and you've got to let go of all that shit, because you're never going to be good. You've got people doing meditation, these Buddhist monks who talk about this path they go on, right? And this old Buddhist monk, I remember in New Zealand, he was talking about this stuff, and he was saying in Tibetan, and his translator was saying, and there's this steps between 1 to 12 to get to this point where you're fully whatever. He says all his life he's meditated from year dot, and he's only at 0.7. This is something that you're never going to be the fittest or the greatest at. It's not the point. Yeah. It's like, you can relax that. You don't have to give yourself a hard time.
No.
Sorry, am I whittling on?
You're always whittling on.
I think the listeners need to hear this as well, because it's like I say it, Phil says it, but the more people who speak about meditation, I think eventually people are going to become more open to it and say, hang on a second, there's more people than I thought actually doing this. Why don't I? I've got nothing to lose. I'll just go and sit in a quiet space now and just give it a try.
Do yourself a fucking favor. It's going to sort you out completely.
Yeah.
It's your magic bullet. And another part of it I think is really important. I know you were saying about other people talking about it, but my theory is although we're talking about it now, try not to talk about it, because it almost weakens your strength. Because as soon as you talk about it to other people, therefore you are doing this thing that if you stop doing it, you've got pressure from other people. You really need to it's your own secret weapon. It's your own journey, your own thing you could do. All you need is a little bit of instruction, and then off you go. Don't take the pressure. Don't pressurize yourself.
That's why I've told a couple of my clients, are like, oh, I'm walking home and tell my missus I'm meditating. I'm like, you don't need to. When your missus goes in the bath, you go and lie on your bed.
Yeah.
And when she comes in and wakes you up, or what you're doing, I'm just lying on the bed.
You could, I hear you, but I think maybe it's all right
before everyone gets up, and that's the best time.
That's the best time, I reckon. Because then, if they get wise to it, it's all good, especially if they see the benefits in you, But it has to be. Anyway, that helped me a hell of a lot. And I've got to say, one other thing, that helped me a lot was I have a job and a vocation that keeps my mind busy. I have a bit of a busy mind, let's say, and doing high-end, like really complicated animations and being creative and kind of with stupid ideas all the time is a blessing. I'm very lucky to do it, and that's also. If I was doing some normal job, I don't know how I would have possibly.
I think that's a lot of the people's. I think a lot of people, especially creative people, right? If they are not creating, then they create a problem to solve. You know what I mean? And often that problem that they create to solve ain't a particularly helpful one. You know?
And you see a lot of it on Facebook as well, isn't it? You see those people where you're just like, you need to go do some shit for yourself. You need to like, you know, rather than sitting on Facebook and sussing out all these things and talking a load of shit. A lot of them are very creative people who have a lot of talent that could be used in different ways, but it's not being used up. So they're just creating all this shit and arguments and talking crap on Facebook.
Oh, it's yeah. It's a weird one. I think I just sent you the link to the Phil. I sent you the link to that meditation guide. No offense to all my lovely, you know, everyone does it for lots of reasons and the social channels and stuff. But when you more and more you think of the kind of the whole fucking vacuous vanity of, hey, look at this new thing that I've got. That it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but it's so.
Don't be sorry, mate.
Sorry, that sickness as it stands is like when people just use it to. There's nothing hard. There's no wrong in going on holiday and loving your holiday. But the thing is, it's and if you're doing it, I'm sure they're doing it for all the right reasons in their own mind. But it doesn't help other people. You know, there's some people out there who aren't as fortunate. You know, if you're enjoying that moment, enjoy the moment. Don't end up making a half an hour fucking documentary and sticking it on Facebook just because you're so fucking lucky.
When I say stuff like that, I just say that they're not. I'm like exactly what you've just seen. You can't be there enjoying that moment and enjoying that time while recording and fucking being totally distracted by the whole thing. You're missing the beauty of the whole thing.
One of the best things I did, I went to Sicily a few years ago, apart from totaling a car, which is a bit of a nightmare, but I didn't take my phone. I had it on airplane mode the entire 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? You know what you do? I'll stand there waiting to get a coffee or something, and the first thing I do, go into my back pocket and try and get. It's terrible. It's bad. You know. Always looking. But then without it there, without it to use, you kind of look around and hold on, I'm talking to someone. Oh, I'm looking at that. Oh, I've never noticed that fox having a shit over there. I never noticed that. And you see things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very true. Very true. But then you look at lockdown time now and how we would have survived without all this tech.
We wouldn't be able to be.
But I think at the same time as with this lockdown, as much as we've developed with technology and moved forward with technology, I think on the other side of the scale, I was thinking about this myself. Like, I'm loving not like I like buying clothes and stuff like that. It's hard for me to say this. I'm gonna explain it now, but I like buying clothes. I like to dress well. I like to do all of that. What I'm finding now is though, I like to do it for fucking everybody else. I'm loving now not buying these clothes that, I've got this lush top. When I'm out, everyone's going to see me lush top. I'm loving not having that and not doing that.
I hear you.
I'm happy wearing the same fucking clothes.
I love that. I think that's a really good kind of like very honest sort of real way of putting it down. Because when you think about it, you wear the same. I mean, and you're only
me and Lee have this conversation, Trev, all the time. Like, me and him are very, very different. He's look at his tan. He covers himself in fake tan. He like plucks his eyebrows and
he's from North. They're all orange.
They're all orange people out there, aren't they? Yeah.
We're pink.
We're pink, mate. We're pink and live in the same building.
Things though, for me that make me feel good. But what I am noticing, some of the things is subconsciously for other people's benefit more than it is actually for my own benefit. And I'm figuring this out a lot, right? I'm on this little, we could say I'm on this little figuring out journey or what have you, because I know in my head, I've got this battle. I know, right? I am most happy when I have fuck all. When I'm out camping in the middle of nowhere, walking, I have nothing. I don't have a phone. I don't have anything at all. Not even money in my pocket. I am the most happiest then. But yet, as I'm in this world, as I'm in this city life, what I kind of say, because when I go away, I go into the woods or whatever, and that's where I absolutely love it. As soon as I come back to this city life, like where I'm at, I switch into this different person where I want shitloads of money. I want all these clothes. I want these nice cars. I want this. I want that. I want this. So I'm in this battle and I'm like,
Damn.
This year, me trying to get all of those things is stressing me the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm not actually happy because I'm so stressed at trying to get these things and hit these points and hit these goals, knowing in the deep down in the back of my mind, I fucking love having nothing.
Yeah. It's balance, isn't it? It's all about balance. And it's always so important also to kind of recognize that particular habit as well, because you're totally right. But, you know, you're right. It's all about them and how they perceive you. But there is a reciprocal experience you're going through. When you're going out with your lush top and your whatever, a lush top, what is a lush top? Anyway,
don't ever say the word, I hate the word lush. He knows I hate that word lush.
Because he hates it.
Shit word.
Geordie, that.
Yeah.
It's like, my dad's Geordie. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's all right. I'm half Geordie, come on.
Which half?
The good, only the good half. It's entirely right, you know. But the thing is, you know, the same thing goes. You know, when you walk into a place and there's a good vibe, or you can walk to a place and there's a shit atmosphere, right? It's not about any different in decor or anything else, although those things are important. It's about the people who are around you, and all about it is a fucking phenomenon. It's not like, you know, you're making up and we're a bunch of fucking hippies. There is a thing about when you get lovely
energy in it, right?
together, there's a good thing going on, or not. It's not documented, but it's the truth, right? It's where it goes on. And I think that when you're feeling good about yourself, people see how you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what they see. It's all about, they only see how you feel about yourself, not exactly what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Those are just like the beginning, the introduction. As soon as you open up your mouth and if it's got good things to say or shit things to say, that's what colours people's judgment, how you behave. And that's a funny thing, isn't it? And it's only, everything is so materialistic, you know. Yeah, for sure. Since I met Michelle, I was saying, since we've been in lockdown, I've changed, although you can't see it now, but, you know, generally quite a stylish person, honestly. But before that, you know, like I still felt the same, but it's how people see you. And you're right, you know, it's not just having nothing or having something, but it's how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I suppose, if you feel better wearing certain clothes or whatever, then that's going to change how you feel about yourself. Do you know what I mean? And then that changes your energy and whatever else.
But if you could bypass that completely, and then
so that it doesn't make any difference, 100%, mate.
Anyway,
yeah, definitely. Didn't you do that Buddhist retreat? Bless you. Woof. Didn't you get a silent retreat, Trev? Didn't you?
Yeah, I did another one recently. Yeah, as well. That was good. In Hemel Hempstead, there was a nice little place. And you go there, and I had to clean the toilets at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you know, and then you get free board and food and stuff like that. It wasn't too bad. You know, there's all these little journeys and trips that you have to push yourself to do. I think that really help your understanding if you're lucky enough to do it. You know, some people don't have the, you know, I'm sure, you know, what you guys are doing, trying to help, you know, like have a positive part to play in other people's sort of lives is really important. And it's trying to get them to understand that. And they'll rely on you. And, you know, like that information, physical and mental well-being is pretty much fundamental for everyone. And then you are what you eat, you know, what you digest through these screens is also as important as what you're putting in your body physically, 100%.
Definitely.
Fuck. And the amount of shit out there is terrible.
Yeah, there's loads, isn't there? What?
Do you know when you went to the Buddhist retreats and that, what is your objective of, like the silent retreat, sorry, what is your objective when you're going there?
You know what, I can't, you know, you can talk about, I get excited about the idea of going again. It's like such a fucking awesome opportunity.
Mate, I want to go to this one that you went to. I keep saying it, don't I? I'm going to do it.
The most wonderful thing about it is it doesn't matter what, the fundamental thing, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter where you go to do it. The whole fucking point of it is you have a few days where your only one pursuit is to find that moment of no thought. So you've got days and days and days of practice of sitting down, of stopping, winding yourself out of it, and then you sit and you practice for as long as you can. Some people are meditating for fucking 7 hours and thinking, no man, my legs are dead within 2. You know, but everyone's got their own ways of going, you know, and sometimes you could sit down on a chair and just you absorb the lovely peaceful kind of vibe that's out there, because as you say before, you walk into a room and there's a good vibe, bad vibe, there's a very peaceful vibe there. There's no it's almost clear of thought, basically. And you've got 7 days of just literally just trying to work on not thinking. Fucking what a pleasure that is, you know, best holiday
Is
ever.
everybody doing that, or is that what you go for?
Most people, you know, the 7-day retreats are everyone's on the same mission. I think often people go to these places as well when they're suffering through some psychological issues. And it's really nice to go when you're not. You know, definitely you should do these things not when you're up against it, but when you're feeling good. You should be meditating when you're not when you're really desperate and trying to get out of a problem, but do it when you're feeling fucking good, mate. Cool.
So if you could pick, say, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 things, mate, that you do now that kind of keeps you on point. Do you know what I mean? Keeps you in the game, sort of thing. What are your sort of top things that you do, strategies, whatever you want to call it, that keep you in the game? And it can't be golf or masturbating.
Oh, so 2 more then, yeah?
Got to think of it. Sorry, we'll give you 30 seconds to think now.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, definitely. I think definitely meditation.
Yeah.
I mean, I must say I dip in and out of it these days. I feel very clear these days and I don't think very much these days. But I do love running. Personally, I love running. Just running along the river, you know, a few K up the river, come back again. Definitely a creative output is really important for me, for myself. Just being able to mind map yourself out, or, you know, where you are and where you're going, and that's really important. I'm sorry, and this is the thing I was saying to Michelle, my other half, my lovely wife, yesterday, it was like, I'm so lucky to have her, because if I didn't have her, there'd be a lot of people that I wouldn't know now. I was always a bit crazy, not crazy like I was crazy. I lived my life quite well, let's say. And Misha and I aren't like fucking saints, but there's balance to my life now, and having someone else in your life is really important. But you only find that person when you've got balance yourself. You often
or you find the wrong person.
Or you find the wrong person, and you know. But this is all part of the path you've got to go in, isn't it?
Too right, mate. And you wouldn't be as the smartly dressed individual that you are now without her, would you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, love. You're welcome.
I actually went to their wedding, didn't I? Well, it's an absolutely great wedding, wasn't it?
It was a classic. It was a thing.
Fun that was. It
I
was
heard
amazing.
this story that the whole meditation thing kind of, and the whole trip to Planet Zob and stuff kind of made sense. I guess when you do it in this sort of circumstances, you got to be all, you know, one-to-one with someone to kind of really fully realize, because you only hear little pot shots of the story, and obviously there's lots of detail in there, and everyone's story is entirely unique, and there's no benchmark or things that you're meant to be doing right or wrong. You can only kind of like assess what's best for yourself by looking at yourself, and also, you know, picking up whatever. If 1,000 people are telling you to meditate and do a bit of exercise, and they said it's helped them, then it's probably given that those things are general rules to keeping well. It's not like, you know, drinking Domestos is going to do you good unless you don't pump. You know, lots of people tell you to drink Domestos and say it's good, then yeah, I go for it. But otherwise, nah.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone tell me to drink Domestos because it's good. I've heard them say drink it because it's a laugh, but not because it's good for you.
Oh, right. No, not even a laugh, mate.
I know some bloke up here who used to brush his teeth with Domestos to make them white.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow. Oh, well, that's
you know the funny thing? His teeth are yellow.
Yeah, that is the funny thing. They're not even white.
She's brushed his teeth with Domestos for fucking no reason.
Really?
Yeah, or seriously.
That cannot be. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was when I was about 12, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you brush teeth." He's like this, dabbing it on and brushing his teeth.
Oh wow, what a loony!
Like, that is, what a loony.
Yeah.
Horrible. I should say things like that, should I? I mean, I think the whole thing about it's all right. Sorry, she does exist.
I know, just shouting up to the mezzanine to a plant. Go on, what were you going to say, Trev?
Can't remember.
No, nor can I.
But it is important to to look after yourself, and as you say, everyone's got their own little own stories and demons to deal with and stuff like that. And I think it's very important to get. Another important thing is to get help. You know, if you really need to talk to someone, there's millions of people out there to talk to. You know, proper professional help. It's hard to find the right one, but don't give up on it. If you're looking for someone to talk to, fucking don't give up on it. You're the only person who's going to fucking make your life as good as it can be, and you won't take a doesn't matter what you buy or what you do or what you end up owning, for sure, man. You can be, you know, there's that Channel 4 documentary about people who are happy, about happiness. And there was one guy who cleans public toilets in Delhi. And there's another guy who's got everything in the fucking world. And when you look at levels of happiness, it's just, you can't get more extreme. I'm not to say, you know, they're right and they're wrong, but,
yeah,
you know, trying to be fucking
It's
happy.
a bit like that, the Caroline Flack situation and stuff like that as well. People, and now they've moved on to Sam Smith. I haven't seen properly the story or whatever, but I'm seeing that Sam Smith's going through a bit of a bad time right now.
Yeah.
And people are like, the cheek of him being depressed, he's got everything, how can he be depressed? Like, come on, are you really so,
but this is the thing, isn't it? And
human,
this is
what you have can make you feel depressed.
I think it's important, right, as we'll kind of wrap it up, I think, in a minute, but that message, and everyone says it, don't they? But that whole thing of, if you're constantly chasing to get something that you think is going to make you happy, there's probably a pretty decent chance that if you get it, you're not going to be happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you put in all your happiness on this external stuff, then you ain't going to get to where you want. You've got to look internally.
Yeah.
And that's where the answers lie, don't they?
Celebrate the fucking shit out of whatever you do achieve.
Yeah, and also celebrate all the fucking bad times you fucking survived.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that, mate, because I've got to say credit to you, Trev, because, you know, I've known you for a you're a good guy and you're a good laugh and that, but you can talk about this real frankly. You know, I think there might be a lot of people that wouldn't be able to talk about the stuff that you've gone through without, you know, as frankly and as honestly, as openly as you've done. Do you know what I mean?
No, pleasure, man. You know, like Mish keeps telling me to write this fucking book, and if you could ever
write a book, mate. You should write a book.
Some many funny stories, man.
I know you have. I know. Well, as I said, yeah, been for many a beers. Well, not enough beers to be fair. We need to get another one sorted out, but they're always good fun. Also, I just want to add that you know, you do your designing, animation, and everything, but obviously you're an artist.
Oh yeah,
that's what you do, right? Your art's good, and I was showing Lee around my flat earlier because I've got some of your stuff in the flat, right? But I just want to point out again that you do give 50%.
50%, and we're going to do a new set. They're going to be all 100% to the coronavirus.
50%. So you give 50% of your profits to the. Who is it?
Well, basically, for the first 2 years, it was always going to buy art equipment for the art therapy department in the Maudsley Hospital where I was.
That's it. They're the people that helped you out, right?
Really nice, you know, to give the, you know,
yeah. How good is that?
Stuff to help people do art.
Yeah.
To feel better. Yeah, it was nice. It was a privilege to help out, you know. And
what a legend. And what are you doing now?
So now we're doing, well, basically I've done all these portraits, these emoji portraits. We've got Muhammad Ali and Kim Kardashian and David Attenborough, all these kind of different types of people. I'm going to mask them all up, the same prints, and then sell them. 100% goes to charity and stuff.
Wicked idea. What a legend. What a star. I love shit like that.
I'm going to send you some links. Send it on to Lee as well.
Send me some links, mate. Well, what we'll do, we'll put them in the description of this so people can just go and find them.
Go and have a look at that. The one I just sent you, yoyopop.com, chill in your brain.
Yeah, I will. So where can, just say it out loud, where can people find more about you, mate?
I'll go to yoyopop.com.
Yoyopop.com. Brilliant. Are you on? Yeah, right. Brilliant.
And you'll enjoy it. It's lots of nice pictures and shit going on.
Wicked. Good work. Trevor, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Yep, it has been. We'll say the same thing again. Jesus
Thanks,
Christ.
chaps. Lovely to talk. Lovely to meet you, Lee.
Top man.